As always, for anyone that is unable to attend, this one is recorded and will be posted in Op Central for you guys to listen back to at a later date. Today, we're going to be doing a walkthrough of the Digital Stack platform, going a little bit deeper dive. Going to give you guys my little tips and tricks on how I use the platform. And then feel free to ask any questions as we're going through. So first, I'll just do a really quick overview of the different kind of tabs and functions of Digital Stack. Then I'll go into a little bit about how you would use each of those functions. So I'm in Club Pilates Subiaco today, so I'm going to be going through their account a little bit. I'll try not to schedule and push anything out. First section we have is our Learn section. So for anyone that's new to the platform or wanting to learn about new features that are coming in Digital Stack, this is what houses all that information. So on the left-hand side, there's a bunch of articles. So if you're new to scheduling and you want a step-by-step video on how to schedule posts, you can find that in the Learn section. If you're having issues with your account unlinking and you're not able to schedule through to your Facebook or your Instagram, you can go in there and find an article about how to relink it. So it is a really great resource, just again, learning about how to use the different features and functions, but also all of the new features. They'll drop an article whenever a new feature has been rolled out onto the platform, which I'm hoping there are going to be some new features rolling out very, very soon. The next section we have is our plan section. So this is what will house the monthly social content plans for your studios. This will be loaded in on a monthly basis for our open studios. Now, when you're in a pre-sale studio, we drop typically 4-week content batches, and then you just let us know when you're at the end of that content and we load in the next 4 to 8 weeks, just depending on how your development schedule is moving. So this will house all of the recommended content for you to go through and schedule. Next, we have our build and schedule. So this is where we house all of our assets and our templates. So when I say template, I mean things like business cards, flyers, social posts where you can edit the text and add your own photos, and then our asset library. So when I say asset, I mean photo or video that you then will need to pop into a template to go through and schedule. Under this section, you also have your scheduled. I'll actually just zoom in a little bit, sorry guys, to make everything a little bit easier to read. So the scheduled, that's where you're going to see everything that you have already scheduled out, and you can go through and either reschedule or cancel it from going live. Next, we have our reporting system. So in the reporting system is where you're able to pull reports across social campaigns, so how your posts are performing, as well as things like email campaigns. The paid media isn't connected at this stage for a lot of our studios. Some who are with LT networks might have the ability to have this connected, but it's not currently something that our certified agencies are programmed into, just to keep aware there. So first, we'll go into the plan section. I'll show you guys a little bit around how you can navigate and use this section, and then we'll move into build and schedule, report, and then, special requests will be last. So with the plan section, as you see here, this is typically what a pre-sale studio would see. You'll have all of your recommended posts. If it's in green, it's all color coordinated. So if it's in green, it means it's already been scheduled. So you've already gone through and you've scheduled that one. You can tick it off your list. If it is yellow, that means it still needs to be scheduled, but you don't need to provide content. It's already to be scheduled. And then you've got your red post, which means it needs to be scheduled and it requires more content. So when I say requires more content, it means you might need to provide a photo of your members or your instructors or of your studio. So a little bit more local content. So if I click in, just to show you guys an example of this one, something that is scheduled and I call ready to build because it has a template already pre-selected. You can go in, it'll give you the breakdown. So Whenever you open up a planner item, it'll give you a bunch of information up front. So typically the title will relate to the post. So whether you're focusing on pregnancy or mums or a specific class, it will give you a little bit of information as to what the post is about. Next, it'll give you the activity. So that will be whether you're scheduling this as a post to Instagram and Facebook, whether this is going to be an email that you're scheduling out, or if this is, say, an event or a reminder that, say, you know, this day is Men's Health Day, or this day is Mother's Day. So it's just a reminder for you guys to keep in mind. Those will typically be grey as well. I just don't have any in this calendar. So that will give you an indication this is going to be a social post that you're scheduling out to Instagram and Facebook. Then under the instructions, it's going to give you a little bit more information on whether you need to upload a photo of something specific, or if you need to capture a video, say, of a member testimonial. In this case, it's saying to select the image template selected below, and then you have the option to change the background image to something from the asset library or provide your own image. And then it's going to give you a recommended caption. So from here, as you can see, this one is pretty ready to go. We can go through and schedule it. So from here, you'll want to select Build Now. And it's going to take you directly through to that template. And what you can actually do is click the Show Details, and that'll actually pull up all the information that was included in that original planner item. So from here, you can either keep it as is, or you can select to change the image. I'll just go here. Now, just with this little pop-up here, it's just for legal reasons, just saying that we have authority to use that image. Everything that is currently in the asset library is completely fine to use. It's just if you're, say, pulling photos off the internet that we don't have copyright for, just ensuring that you do have the copyright to use those images. So confirm I have permission. Now it's going to give you the option to either upload the image from your device or select an image from your library. So where it says upload an image from your device, if you're using a laptop or a computer, it's going to go into your own personal library. If you go select an image from your library, that's going to take you through to the asset library. So there's two ways in which you can upload from. So when you're in the asset library, it will give you the option on the left-hand side of all of the different folders that you can go into. Georgie, it's going to look a little different with you with Rumble, so and our other brands. It'll also give you the option of your own studio. So one of the really great things in the asset library is we have our brand categories or a brand library, which every studio has access to. And then you'll have your individual studio library. So only people with access to your individual studio is people who have a login or, have their account associated with, say, Rumble, Inaloo, or with Club Pilates, Cornubia, for example. So that is a really great place, and I'll kind of touch on that in a moment in terms of how you can store things for your studio. So from here, you can go into one of the folders. Let's say we want a class shot that we want to use, and then just selecting any of the images from here. Let's just go this one. It'll highlight it with the little purple line down the bottom to let you know it's been selected, and then click OK. Now, before it uploads, it's going to ask you to crop the image. So from here, this is where you can decide if you want to, say, zoom in a little bit more, move slightly the image. Yeah. Rotate it. So let's say we wanted to go a little bit closer here, and then click continue. And then that will give you the preview of what the image will look like. So from here, we can go build and schedule. And then it's going to give us the options on what platform we want to push it out to. So from here, we can go Facebook and Instagram, and it's going to schedule to both at the same time. Makes life so much easier. Continue. And then here, it's just confirming the image format and the dimensions. So when I go through and show you the print templates, that's where it's a little bit more important in terms of selecting the dimensions. Oh, sorry. In terms of selecting the dimensions, here it's all going to be the same with social templates. Then from here is where you'll add in your caption. You can add in any hashtags, and then you can schedule out the post. So let's go, for example, show details. That's going to give us the recommended caption. We're going to copy that, paste it in here. Now, just when you're copying and pasting things in, just keep an eye out for anything where it says studio name. You just need to go in, remove that, add in your studio name, your studio number, add in your email address. Got Avinash joining. I'm just going to let him in. Perfect. Thank you, Avinash, for joining. We're just going over some digital stack training. So the first half was recorded, so you can go back and listen to that one at a later time. So from here, what you would do is go in and change the name to your studio name, and then you would go through and schedule it. So you can either click schedule for later and select the date and time, or you can go schedule for now, so publish immediately. Just keep in mind, if you are building through the planner, it will automatically pre-populate the recommended date based on the planner. So the planner item is for the 11th of June. If you schedule it through the way that we've just done, it will automatically fill in the 11th of June here. And then you can just select the time that you want to push it out for. So I'm going to put that this week. You would then click schedule, and then it'll give you the little rolly dice to let you know it's scheduling, and then they're all clear once it's scheduled out. So I'm just going to turn my phone on silent. So that's how you would go through and schedule a ready to build one. It is basically the same with the red post. It's just there's a recommended type of content to capture. So for example, use a template, video template, and record a testimonial from your instructor. So that would just mean that ahead of time, you need to go out and get that content and save that in your asset library to then go through and schedule. Any questions so far around scheduling and using the planner?
All good so far from.
Cool. Awesome. I would also recommend you can add your own planner items. So as you start to, say, have your grassroots events coming up, I recommend adding them into the Digital Stack Planner as reminders. So then you can start to schedule content around it. So say if you're doing a pop-up workout in your local area, going in on the day and say pop-up class at, and then location. And then you can put the activity as, say, general reminder. You can include any additional information in here and then click save. And then that will add it to your calendar. And then you can always move it around. So if the date changes, you can just drag and drop it. But it's just a great way, say, if you're not the person who's going through and scheduling, to remind them, hey, we do need to push out some content ahead of this event happening. Just keeps everyone on the same page as well. And then at any point you want to delete it, you can just go in and select delete. Perfect. Okay, so if you are wanting to change views as well, there is the view by month. There is also the view by week. So if you just prefer to see this is what's coming up, and then that will just give you the breakdown if that's just a little bit easier just to see that immediate view posts, or you can go view by month. And then here is where you can toggle by the month as well. So if you want to start planning ahead, say things like July, you can go in and toggle forward in your months. So that's the planner section, pretty straightforward, that one there. The next is our build and schedule. So I'll show you guys a little bit of that platform. I might jump into Rumble now just to kind of mix up the brands a bit. So in your build and schedule, as I mentioned before, you've got your template gallery. So with your template gallery, this is what houses all of our different templates. So social, print, emails, anything like that can be found in here. I find the easiest way to search is a combination of the tools that we have in the taskbar. So we have our categories. So everything is filtered into its own category. You have formats. So your format will be whether you're looking for a print, whether you're looking for an email template, or if you're looking for a social post or a social story, you can break that down. And then the editable elements. So if you want something where you can edit the text, you can edit the image, or if you want something where you can edit a video, just to give you a little bit more control around what's coming up on that search. So, and then you do have some other filters as well, which is things like your location draft. I would say that's more important in terms of things like your print and your email campaigns, because that will show you what you have multiple versions saved on. So let's say, for example, your soft opening, you're coming up on the soft opening for your studio and you're looking for, let's say, email campaigns. And that's going to filter down that search to here are all the email campaigns for studios that are in a soft opening that you can then go through and schedule out. Let's go, for example, workshops and events. So if you're planning an upcoming workshop or an event and you're wanting some print materials to use, and that will give you a breakdown of all the print materials that are currently available for you to use. So things that are completely editable, like our partnerships, or things that are a bit more themed, so around particular events of the year. I'll just jump into Club Pilates again. Okay. Or say if you're looking for print essentials and you specifically would like to have, say, a look at what cards are currently available. So whether that's business cards, pricing cards, wrap cards, or other types of flyers. Again, it's not a perfect science. So that's where I recommend going into your formats, and it even will break down further into the different formats. So if you're specifically looking for a business card, then you can break down the format into, there is a lot of formats in here, into the business card. And that will give you everything that is currently available under that business card in your print essentials. Okay, so now from here, I might just show you guys how to edit some of the templates. I'll find this one. And then an email template. Okay, perfect. So when it comes to all of your templates, when you open them up, on the right-hand side, it will show you everything that you have the ability to edit. So if you would like to change any of the text, then you can do it on the right-hand side here. So say if you wanted to change the amount that the coupon is for, if you want to make it more or less, you can edit that information. You can remove some information as well. So say you don't want the text down the bottom here, you can just delete that and it'll remove it. So everything will preview on the left-hand side. And then you can change the image as well. You can also go to the back and update all of the information here. Now, sorry guys, I'm just going to pull up a print template. Now with your print templates, there is in some cases fields that you will have to edit to be able to export and download. So a lot of times if it has, say, a QR code, like this one here, where it says custom image is required, it means you'll have to upload your own image, so a QR code there, before it will actually let you download it. So if you're ever coming up with an issue of, I can't move forward and I can't download and I can't export that template, it's typically because either a custom image, custom field needs to be edited, or if it's a 2 or more page document, you need to go through and you need to click through the fields before it'll let you go through. So it just needs to know that you've previewed all the fields. Sorry, I'm just going to plug my computer in. Okay, so when it comes to print templates as well, and all of your templates, you'll also have this feature to save a location draft. So saving a location draft is basically like saving your own version of that original template. So every time you open up the template, I'll give you guys an example. So I've made the changes. Say I might want to come back and reuse the changes I've made to this template in future. I might save a location draft. So go new member coupon, let's say $70, for example. That is then going to save a location draft for my studio. So when I open this template again, so if I reload this URL, so when I open the template again, it's going to give me the option to either open up that original template or open up the edited version that I've already created. Now, with location drafts, you can create as many location drafts as you like. It's not limited by, say, 5 or 10. You can create as many as you like. And I always recommend, especially for things like print and email, so that way, if you do need to go back and make any changes, you already have those changes you've created as a baseline. Cool. So that's how you can edit them. Now, when it comes to exporting, so you would click through next. Again, it's going to give me that pop-up saying that I need to view all pages before I can export. And then I'll go next. I'm just going to jump, back in to Subiaco. And that is another thing as well. You will have your location details merge tagged to pre-fill into the templates. So if these merge tags and the information here isn't matching up correctly with what it should be for your studio, you can edit that by going into your icon on the top right-hand corner and clicking location details. I'm just going to go out of this and show you guys where to find that information. And then here is where you can update your studio's location details. So that way, when it's merge tagging, it'll pull the information from this section. Perfect. Cool. So you checked over the template, everything looks all good, and now you're going through and you're wanting to export it. So just click next. From here, you'll want to download to your computer or device. Click continue. Now, when it comes to exporting options for print, this is going to depend as to whether it's something that you're printing yourself or if you're sending off to a print provider. If you're sending it off to a printer or a print provider, you will want to include bleed and trim marks, as that's something that they will typically request. If you're just printing it yourself, so say, for example, you're just printing off a notice for members that you're just going to put at the front desk and you're just going to do it from your home printer, that's something that you would just not include bleed and trim. So I'll show you what I mean when I say bleed and trim. So we'll download the first one with bleed and trim. And here is where you can select the dimension as well, whether you want it to be A5 or A6. So I'll download that first one with bleed and trim, and then I'll download one without bleed and trim just to show you guys the difference there. So we'll go again, download without bleed and trim. Perfect. Okay, so there we go. So this is the one that includes bleed and trim. So if you're having the issue that you're wanting to print something out, but when you're downloading it from Digital Stack, it has these little black lines on the side and that extra border. That just means that you've downloaded it with bleed and trim, and you'll send it off to a print provider and they will cut it up before delivering it back to you. But if you're just doing it yourself, just download it without bleed and trim, and that will get rid of the border and the black lines. Perfect. So now Amanda did go through the emails last week in terms of scheduling them out. Does anyone have any questions around scheduling emails on Digital Stack?
No, I'm still finding my way, but I think I'm okay for now.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions around that. So that is how you would edit a template. Then just going into the asset library. So with your asset library, again, on the left-hand side, it'll have the breakdown of all of the folders that we have available in your brand. Under that is your local studio folder. So this is where you can create your own collections and you can upload your own photos and videos. I highly recommend, where possible, uploading as much of your content into Digital Stack, into that asset library, just so you can go back and use it in future, especially when you do have multiple staff members responsible for capturing that content. It so easily becomes something's on this person's phone or this person's phone, and it doesn't end up in one centralized spot to be able to be used in future. So what I really recommend there is starting something like a WhatsApp group, if you don't already have one, with your trainers or instructors and your staff members, where everyone can just upload content into that WhatsApp group, and whoever's responsible for managing your socials will then have that open on the desktop, download all of that content, and then upload it into Digital Stack. To do that, you can create your own collections. So let's say, for example, you were wanting to have a folder with all of the photos of your instructors. You can create an instructor folder, click create, and then it will appear here under your studio's name. Also, for things like if you're doing any photo shoots, ensuring that you're uploading them into Digital Stack to use later on. From here, you can create further folders. So if you want to have a folder for each of the instructors with their name, you can then upload your content. So just click this little upload one, choose files, and then you can just select all the images that you would like to upload. I'm just going to open this one up here. Now, if you would like, you can also add tags. So if you're just chucking everything into one folder, if you want to include tags, whether that's the name of the event the photos are from or the instructor that it is, it just makes it easier for you to find those photos if you have just one folder of, say, 1,000 different images. So from here, click save. And then that image will appear in here. If you ever need to delete anything, you just select it, actions, and then bin. But as you start to use the platform a little bit more, I would recommend a folder for your instructors. So that way you have those photos when you're, say, last minute needing a photo to do a staff highlight through the week. If you need to provide any photos to Amanda for the website as well when listing your instructors and trainers. And then also a folder for things like your QR codes. It just makes it life a lot easier storing them in Digital Stack if you're going to be building out your flyers, to just grab them through Digital Stack and also to reuse them in future. So the asset library is pretty straightforward there. And then your scheduled section. So this will give you the breakdown of all of the posts or all of the club ready email campaigns you already have scheduled out. So you would just go in here if you either need to edit a caption, reschedule a post, or just cancel a post from going out. So you can do that on the right-hand side. Now, just keep in mind, Facebook and Instagram will look scheduled separately, so they'll have to be edited or cancelled separately. So if we go in here, it'll give you the option to reschedule, edit, or delete. So rescheduling would just be as simple as changing the date and time that it's going to go out on, and then clicking confirm reschedule. That's that one. And then edit. Now, when it comes to editing any of the posts or emails, it will only give you the ability to edit the caption of a social post, you're not actually able to edit the template itself. You would just have to delete it and go ahead and reschedule it from the beginning. So that's why I do recommend things like those location drafts, just in case you do have to go back and reschedule it. I don't think I have an email in here, but with the emails, all you'll be able to do is just reschedule the time that it's able to go out on. Cool. And then report. So report, again, that's where you can get the breakdown of how your account is performing. So if we click in here, it will give us an overview of how all of our platforms are performing in terms of how many posts that we've built out and how many new likes and how much growth our pages have been having. So again, if you're not the person who's managing the social accounts and the digital stack for your studio, this is a really great way just to track the performance of the staff member who's taking care of that and work with them to create some KPIs for those upcoming months to make sure that, you know, they're checking in on this information and they're keeping on track with what their goals are. With email campaigns, I might just move into one of our other studios. And this is something that we touched on last week, but with your reporting on the email campaigns, here is where you're able to see things like your open rates, your click-through rates, how many of those emails got delivered, and then of those emails, who's actually clicked the link, who's unsubscribed, and who has marked it as spam as well. And then lastly, move through to Digital Stack. So this is where you're able to select and submit a special request. So from here, if we click new, you can pop in the title of your special request. So this is, say, for example, if there's nothing in Digital Stack that you can use. So I know, Bree, we've just done some, like a billboard. We're looking at doing some car rear view window artwork. So if it's, say, something that's not currently in Digital Stack that you're needing created, you can pop in a special request that comes through to Amanda and myself that we then send through the designer to have created. When it comes to special requests, the more information that you can give us, the faster and easier it is for us to get that processed. So things like dimension sizes. So if it does need to be a particular size, what you would like included in the piece, and also any inspiration. So if there are any templates in the build and schedule that you really like the look, feel, or design of, including a photo of those in the brief just lets us know as well, hey, we kind of want to make it look like this, and that helps speed up the process as well. But that is something that you can start to use and then track. Has anyone got any questions of what they've used the platform with, how they've used the platform so far, or anything they want me to walk them through while you've got me here?
I'm pretty good so far, thank you.
Yeah, cool. And just a little last thing for our studios that have more than one studio, you would be aware, but there is this little toggle down where you can change into your different studios as well. I think everyone here, we've got one studio so far, so start to get used to the platform. If you do have any questions, please reach out. And if you are having any issues with templates, so if there's an error, if there is a bug where maybe the page just keeps reloading, or you're not able to upload a certain photo or video into a template, it's giving you an error message. That is where I recommend contacting support. So if you go into the Learn section, click Contact Support, there is an email address here, which is support@digitalstack.io, which is manned by the Digital Stack support team. So I highly recommend, if you're having any issues with any of the templates, reaching out to them, and also CC in the marketing at boutiquefitnessstudios.com.au. And then that way we can have a look at the issue and see if it's either something support can adjust, or let you know if there's an issue in the system, or if it's something that Amanda and myself can potentially jump in and make some little tweaks to fix for you as well. So just let us know if there are any issues, because if we don't hear from you and we don't hear about the issues, then we don't know or get the process to start fixing them as well. Perfect. But that is basically it on Digital Stack today. Just stop the recording.